Hello, good evening. A wee late one. I just woke up and went a bit after a wee video. Before I forget. This is just from the Reader's Digest. It's just a couple of wee feel good stories about one's finding your way back home. There's nothing quite as heartwarming as a warm welcome after time away from home when you've been gone for a few days, several months, or even years. That moment of being wrapped in the arms of loved ones is unforgettable. That's why when obviously they asked the Reader's Digest community, they share their most touching stories of coming home from a father's emotional reunion with his daughter after serving in the military, to college students returning after semesters away, and a sweet dog who couldn't contain his joy. These feel good tales make you smile, laugh, and maybe shed a tear. Oh, reporting your daddy for daddy duty. After a 10-month tour in Afghanistan, my son Christopher was reunited with his daughter Catherine. They hadn't seen each other since he was 9 months old. That's a long time, isn't it? Not to see your children or any of your loved ones, but especially your children. Especially, it's been a long time for that. It's a bit bigger and they'll not really know you that well. Um, amid all the hugging and kissing at the airport, Catherine was staring at her dad, trying to figure out who he was. I just said that the wee one would have been gone. Um, who are you? Yeah, yeah. When Christopher noticed her quietly looking at him, he said, "Let's take a walk and get reacquainted." He took her tiny hand and led her around the terminal. 20 minutes later, Daddy and daughter returned to the group, laughing, the best of friends. You think that in us is so sweet. You think you've not seen your your dad in a long time. I mean, I remember when my dad was went away and I was crying. I can remember clearly. I was 3 years old, and I was screaming. I was blaming everybody for my dad. Anyway, I wouldn't go to my mum. I would only go to my dad's mother, my gran, because he was going away. Uh, so he was, and I just couldn't cope. I thought somebody is, I'm like, take him away. I want my dad. I want to go. I didn't understand that. Like a few months later, I would see my dad again. So, but when you're that young, you don't understand. You really don't get it. So yeah, I understand that we girls is like wanting to see. eh, Obviously, I was a wee bit angry. I mean, I knew who my dad was. I was always about like my dad's parents and things like that. Because I loved my dad's dad. I mean, he was the funniest person you could ever meet. Funniest person. Used to uh, lift up cars and do daft things around the community with putting people on the wheelbarrow and driving, running about with them. And but sadly, he's not here anymore. I mean, he passed away. My gran went into hospital. Then he ended up getting taken up the stair, and he passed away in his sleep with pneumonia. But they found out he had cancer as well, which none of us knew he had. Which something was my grandpa was very proud and would have rather fought through that and didn't want to upset my gran. Me, but let's go on to the next story. Bringing home the baking. I studied education at University of Colorado, more than 1,000 miles from my home in Illinois, so I didn't get to visit my family often. When I came home after my first semester, I stepped in the door. All of my brothers enthusiastically called out requests for the favourite recipes of mine that they'd been craving: chocolate chip cookies, quiche Lorraine, blueberry coffee cake, a huge ice cream sundae. We called the kitchen sink. Mum greeted me with a um, huge laugh, saying, "I guess they missed you." Yeah, I mean, it is nice when you've been away and your siblings miss you. I mean, I've only got one sibling, but I've got 7 children, and it was felt when my daughter moved out with my grandson. I mean, because they took over my living room, um, because obviously they couldn't share it, also she couldn't share with her wee sister. Um, but they felt it, and it wasn't more to do with, they did feel it. The fact is, there was a missing part of the household. Sometimes they do still feel it. So, and that's her just, it's a couple of bus stops away. But I do a bit of watch my grandson while she works, because she actually used to be working baking. Um, and when she went to maternity leave, the place she works in, but it's not just for baking, it's general shopping. End up putting into another position, which is better for her because she's pregnant again with her second. But she absolutely loves that job. She still wants to go into baking, but she's grateful for the job anyway, because she was taking more hours on than what she should have when she was pregnant with my our first baby, who's nearly 2 years old now. God, I can't believe that's nearly 2 years ago he was born. Doggone it. Mhm. Yeah. When you've gone for 5 weeks or 5 minutes, a dog will meet you at return with equal enthusiasm. My ego was no exception when I came home from the hospital after giving birth. She was wriggling around, wagging her tail and barking until she heard the baby in the carrier. I sat on the kitchen table. She jumped in a chair, sniffed around, looked at the baby, then whipped around with betrayal in her big puppy eyes, as if to say, "How could you?" It is. I mean, I remember when my daughter was pregnant with my grandson. Um, Obviously, it's like 2 cats just slept in her room all the time, and they were all over the cat. It's not just them; all the cats were all over, uh, and they were very funny with baby. But see now, I mean, you've got to still be careful because he's still small, and you're angry because animals could just sometimes they could actually angry, but he chases the cats about as if it's angry, but they grew up together. I mean, a lot of them are, two of them are very old. They just can't be annoyed. They can't be annoyed with the younger cats, and they can't be annoyed. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to the reaction when the new baby comes, when he's born in November. I'm looking forward to my grandson's reaction. He's going to be like, okay, because he doesn't understand, because he's got to be staying with me with a good few days when my daughter gets in it for a C-section. But I'm looking forward to his reaction and my cat's reaction, how she angry, because one of my cats look at my grandson as if he belongs to her. Oh, she's so cute. And he's really obsessed with this cat. So it is. So it's nice to see that they're going to grow together, and I'm wondering what our reaction is going to be with the new baby. Because they've got to, because when they're a wee baby, take a wee hand and hold their wee hands and just so that baby gets to you, used to the feel, and also then make sure you what, but it's like, but make sure you do it with a glove and not their bare fingers, and then get used to it. It means then you can put the wee mittens into the wash. So it means that they're not putting it into their mouth. Um, and that's how we did it with my grandson. So if you've ever got an animal, it's slowly introduce them so they can thingy, and don't keep them away from each other either, unless it's when it comes to baby sleeping at night, and don't have them in the same room, because a cat or a dog could accidentally knock that baby out the cot or the Moses basket. So be careful. A ban of return. We'd moved to Baltimore for my husband's veterinary residency, and he'd spent a few extra months there to finish the programme with our family, settled back home in the country. We hung a huge poster at the top of the steps. It will welcome home to the best. Teller of all tales, driving instructor to be, golfing buddy, bluegrass fan, Spanish consultant, pet adapter, financial advisor, yoga. I don't know what happened there. Yes. But a Glover, computer wizard, mandolin player, garage organizer, and more. When he walked through the door, his stressed countenance instantly dissolved into a smile. Nay, I remember it's not just when my dad going away, but I remember my uncle was in the Navy and I was away in spouts at times because he was in the ships. And also my gran, as a proud mother, she put banners up, and it's like I remember him when his amazing uniform, because my mum's dad was in the Navy. So it's a proud moment when your children are away in the armed forces, in the Navy, because they're serving their country. But I wouldn't allow my kids, any of my kids, to serve for this country at all that I'm in. Never. Because they're deliberately sending you away to die. So, but, so no chance. Because I wouldn't want my children working, dying for a mental parliament or a mental king, which is no my king, by the way. Ain't no storm icy enough. When my husband and I moved more than 3 hours away from our son, he promised to call every Sunday and visit every month. We wanted to see him for Christmas, but he'd have to battle a nasty winter storm to make it happen. Still, he navigated icy country roads to come to us, doubling the trip's usual time. We postponed Christmas by a day for his arrival, but it was one of the best holidays ever, that my son would make it through such treacherous weather to be with us. It was its own miracle. That is a miracle, especially. I mean, I know what the winters a lot over in America are very, very. I mean, they're great. I mean, they're mental here in the UK, especially, but I know they're really bad in parts of America. I don't know what part's worse than the other, but when you get it, snow and all the rest of it, it's like you really get it in the neck. The new British invasion. In the 1980s, her conservative dressing daughter left her Connecticut home for an exchange program in London. When she came home, we couldn't spot her at the airport until she tapped us on the shoulder. She intentionally passed by us multiple times, unrecognisable to us in her striped punk jeans, a well print t shirt, and crimped hair with bangs. We still laughed about it today, especially because she's now a successful New York City fashion designer. I mean, it's like, I mean, who's all done that in their family? Um, it's like sneak by them and things like that. I've done that to people I know. I know. I'll notice them and I'll sneak all about them and go, boo. It, and it's like, oh, of course, she did to see me. My son is, and my daughters do that to me when I'm sitting in a chair. I go, oh, go do that, and then I'll just sit here. And they'll go in one door in the building and come a wee out and come right round the back of me and go, ah, and your heart is pure pumping. So it is. But this is what we do. We jump scare each other in this house all the time. But it's funny. And we've got a habit of when you see a yellow car, we go yellow car, we tap each other on the hand or on the leg and go yellow car, no hit back. And we do a competition to see how many yellow cars we see. It's fun. Try it. Your family. Family resemblance. My sister and I had teaching jobs in Houston, which made it hard for us to get home to see our mother and my niece in Pittsburgh. We decided to fly them down to us for a vacation. When we went to pick them up at the airport, we put on Groucho Marx gag glasses with big nose and a mushy moustache and eyebrows. My mum and niece were the first passengers to the plane, and they were wearing the same glasses. See, this is what I'm saying. If you've got that sense of humour in your family, but it is actually quite funny. Um, that would have been the talk at the time, I'm telling you. But hang on to your helmets. My husband's an avid motorcyclist, but for and a member of the Iron Butt Association, the real name of the group of long distance motorcycle riders, embarked on a bucket list item, the IBA's ultimate coast to coast insanity ride. Motorcyclists must ride from Key West, Florida to Whole Bay, Alaska, and back in under 60 days. Oh my God. It's a grueling cross country ride with strict rules. It was so nervous that I took out a life insurance policy and followed the social media account he made to post his progress. The ride held lots of twists and turns, but none better than the final one, the big welcome home sign in our garage door and the entire neighbourhood cheering as they pulled into the driveway. He crushed all 11,897 miles in only 22 days. That is absolutely awesome. I'm going to see, I'm not joking, right? See, bike girls, they're absolutely amazing and they do so much for families. I've done it for people that've struggled, they've done it for people that, I mean, they'll do it for so many things. There's a biker here and he started up a group because there are a lot of things that are the controversy. There's no even controversy happening with people being attacked, children, women, and men. And what they do is walk the streets and make sure that people get on into the houses okay, or onto a bus or whatever it is, just making sure they're angry because obviously the police here are not doing their jobs. And somebody up here is in and my in Glasgow who's doing it as well. I do take my hats off to these people because we we need boots in the ground so that things and being proactive. Um, Especially men. If you're here in the UK, get your man out there with other men and walk the streets. Um, if during the day or during the night, it means that things. It means that young girls or young boys aren't coming home and they're getting home safe and sound to their parents. We do not want anything else happening to our children. So thank you to these people that are doing things like that. So please, Ingrid. Oh my God, my cat just jumped in her nail and in the bottom of my foot. And that was Awie. Dressed for the occasion. That was so lucky. And that's one of my oldest cats. She didn't mean it. We once dressed as the Clampets from the Beverly Hill Billies. Oh my God, who is no watched that? I remember watching that. It was on. Also, it's an American show, but aired here in the UK, and I was flipping obsessed with it. I think it was so funny. Anyway, she tried to explain that to my kids. I will see if I can get English. Just knew that. It just reminded me of that. We're picking up our kids from the airport. Oh my God, they would have been embarrassed. My husband sported a yellow hunting hat and ratty jeans with suspenders. And I wore a full length flower dress, straw hat, just like the granny. Can anybody remember the granny? And the hillbillies. And wired rim glasses. People followed us just to see whom we were meeting. The kids didn't know what to think, or maybe they did. Our son turned around and tried to get back in the plane. That's all my kids would have done. Oh, because it's when you're a parent, you really do go to embarrass your kids. Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. Enveloped in love. After being away for 2 weeks, I was glad to be home, but was miffed that my boyfriend wasn't waiting to welcome me. There was only an envelope taped to the front door. The notice said it instructed me to go to the couch. There I found another envelope and a note that read, I miss sitting beside you. And a total of 6 envelopes direct me to locations in my apartment, each with a special note. The last one was in the freezer, or my favourite ice cream. Let's celebrate. Then my boyfriend, now husband, who had been hiding in his car, walked in the door. That's lovely. We got you back. My parents saw an announcement in the paper that someone with the same name as me was getting married at a local church. They thought it would be funny to bring a clipping when I returned home from the army service on my flight home. I sat next to a new mother since the tarmac was slippy. I offered to carry her newborn as we deplaned. When my parents saw me with an unknown woman and baby in my arms, they thought their joke had backfired and that the wedding announcement really was mine. I had the last laugh on that one. Yep, that did not work out very, very well. That is, it's like, that was really, really funny. I enjoyed reading the wee bits and pieces of them, the wee stories. They were short, clip stories, but they were fun. And if you want me to read any more, please leave it in the comment sections. They were quite funny and quite heartwarming. One or two of them as well. So it's like sending love and light and good night.